the computer. Okay, we're ready. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I finally got my glasses.
Hey.
Now I can see. It's a little bit of reflection, so I figured I'd take them off while I'm starting to talk here. But can you guys see everything okay on the easel? I've been messing with this light, so if is that better? It's just because it's just the lighting. So I was telling Leah I'm working on getting a studio space so that I can have my class easel just always set up, and so lighting will be a little bit better. Always work in progress. So one thing she did talk to me about is our pictures that we have to use for class. And sometimes I forget because I always, you know, I'm taking a lot of pictures, but I also belong to some sites that allow me to use their photos without naming who it is. And so the last photo that we were gonna do, I can't remember where I got it. So I told Leah that I don't wanna put her in an awkward position if it's copyrighted. So this photo is gonna be perfect. It really shows how to do the wet and dry sand, and I like the angle of it. And then the reflection of the sky. So I think it's going to be fun. I was thinking about last week's class and talking about, I know that sometimes I'm picking out colors, and I want you to stop me and say, why are you doing this, or why are you choosing this stick if it doesn't make sense to you? I sometimes assume that you know or you're following along, and so I don't want to create any frustration or confusion. That's something I'm still working on, talking and teaching at the same time. Leah is gifted, and it's taking me a while, but I'm trying to work on, you know, explaining certain things. So just speak up. I just stop me in mid-process if it doesn't make sense. One of the things or reasons why I chose purple is because we have a lot of orange and brown here, and I think that it would be really pretty to lay that orange over that deep purple and bright purple. So I also chose a light purple for the sky. I think it's going to be really nice. And just remember with our horizon lines, even though it shows really, really dark right here, we're going to soften it because that dark line will compete with our foreground. So I've chosen some lighter muted blues to kind of just push that back a little bit to bring that wave forward. And I'm going to send you a picture, which I find really fascinating, on ocean, I guess, waves and ocean pictures, because right now, to me, when I first look at this, I see a lot of angles, right? And then you have your horizon line, but below it, it makes you feel like that wave is also really at an angle. But I want to show you something. When you actually add your grid to it, I want to show you. Okay. If you look at the picture I just sent, look how even the crest of that wave is, the top of the wave with the horizon. Isn't that amazing? So definitely my tip when we're going into something like this, I actually turn the grid on and I really look at the angles and look, okay, or another option is if you don't have a way to grid it, you can turn your photo upside down. That's engaging your right side of your brain, remember? It disconnects that left side, and your left side is always saying, oh, that's a wave, that's the phone, that's the horizon. Your right side of your brain is now engaging and not saying what that is. It's just simply looking at the shapes. So, and we do this a lot in Leah's painting classes. But you can see right there, here's the horizon, right? And then straight line, here's the top of that wave. So it's a really good technique for drawing purposes and sketching. I just find it fascinating. Okay. So let's begin. I am just gonna start out with my purple pastels. I have,
Marie?
yeah?
Hi, Rashmi here. I'm not able to pin that Tyler's phone to the main screen. I can only
Yeah,
see
me
yours.
neither.
Me neither. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Can you see it now?
I can see it, but I can't like enlarge it. I can't pin it.
like pin it.
the-
Yes.
The picture?
Yeah.
The other video, which is like, you know,
Yeah, it's
Like the one which showing you doing the stuff, like your
yeah,
code.
yeah.
So this piece, you can't see very well?
I
Okay.
can't see
Pin
the
it.
other video. The video which says Tyler's phone. So you have two
Yeah,
accounts,
Tyler's
right?
phone, you need
Yeah,
it zoomed in.
yeah, I can't zoom in. I think we can't zoom into that.
You want
We
you
can't
want me to
pin it.
you want me to come forward?
No, we
No,
can't
No,
pin
no,
it.
no.
no,
It's
it's
too small.
yeah.
It's big. It's like in mini mode across the top. And normally we can put it full screen.
I
Yeah,
mean,
in a
usually
pin
that
it. Yeah.
becomes the main chat.
It's like speaker view, but only you can be in speaker view. We can't pin any of the others into speaker view so that it's the main picture on our screen.
It's like it just says chat, and normally you have pin and you have a couple of other choices, don't you? On
Yeah.
each speaker, which is kind of weird.
I've never had, I don't know.
Normally we can pin that thing so we can see in a larger
Yeah.
view.
Yeah, and you can't right now.
No.
Okay, let me
No.
see. Can I pin? How about that?
Let's see.
That worked.
Now we can pin it. Yeah.
It's come up. Yeah.
Does that work better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Here.
Oh, good. Thank you for telling me, because I don't know what happened. Okay.
A little bit blurry.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get it.
Getting seasick.
I know, right? Is that okay? Can you see it okay?
The,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's
really,
try.
the
Let's.
focus isn't very sharp.
It isn't.
But we can see both, you know, we can see both things, but
Is that better?
Yeah.
Well, we'll try it. It might be the time, hold on. Maybe that will help.
I think it's the focus, isn't it? It's just the clarity of it. It's just a bit kind of
Grainy.
yeah, just a bit fuzzy.
Huh. That is weird. Well, my internet was off, and I'm wondering if that's the problem today. Is that it's not good connection. Okay, well,
Really sharp, Marie.
let's try it. Okay. All right. We'll see how this works, you guys. Always in training. Okay, I'm gonna get the horizon line in. I'm gonna just use a dark, you can see this is like a navy blue pastel. So I'm gonna start at the horizon. I probably should use a ruler. Okay. I'm going to leave this area where the wave is at. I'm going to leave this alone right this minute and just get the backwater, because this cresting and this white, I kind of want to just think about that a little bit. You can kind of see the back part of the water here. So when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I probably should have the dark blue set and then maybe a light blue pastel for that water spraying up over it. So I don't want to put a lot of pastel down is what I'm thinking in my mind. So I'm going to leave this section kind of open right now, and I'll just add a little more of this blue. And we've got an angle coming down, following this foam line. And then it's just right in the front. Okay. I think I'm going to keep this the blue. I'm going to set that down just for a minute. Okay, for the sand, I'm going to do a darker purple here where it's wet, moving into more of a brighter purple where it's the light's hitting it and it's lighter down in here. So I'm going to use a combination of 3 different purples, and I'll show you, take a picture. It's in the box. He's on his way. Okay. So to the left is my dark purple, and that's what I'm going to use. It's like almost like an eggplant. And so we've got this S, and this almost hits about center, a little over. So let's see here. I'm just kind of seeing this shape right here. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. I'm going to go in with that mid purple. I'm just kind of filling in the sand area. We'll come back over with the pastel pencil and kind of put in our marks. This is just a bright, it's kind of just reminding me we've got some sun here. I'll probably continue that bright purple here. Come down with this. And then let's use that light purple, and I'll show you. This is going to be for the sky. And I have not touched that wave area yet. I think for the wave portion of it, I'm going to do what we call local color, and I'm going to go in with some dark blue. There's actually some green that I see, like a green blue. So I'm going to put in that dark local color. So I'll show you. Let me see here. This is it's a new pastel. It's a blue green. It's more on the dark blue. So anything close to that dark color. And I'm gonna just come in here, thinking about that. Now remember that top of that crest is straight with the horizon. Even I wanted to add an angle. It's what your eye wants to do. Okay. So we've got, now I'm just kind of thinking about how wide this area is and where I want to apply this dark part to the crest of the wave. And we've got center, and so measuring 1, 2, 1, 2. So we want to get this piece right. It is our focal point. So 1, okay. So about right here. I'm just gonna put this dark green blue. I think this nice brighter blue is gonna look good when it sits right on, and I'm just pulling my pastel down just in the way the water is coming up. I'm painting the same way with my pastel. I'm gonna leave this area open, and I'll just use what I have on there when I wet it. Okay, so that's bigger. Okay. One of the other, I mean, this is normal, is to make your wave a lot bigger than it is. And so you want to, I mean, really, it's just very small. It's tapering off, and then it gets wider as we come out this way. So this actually needs to be, we'll measure it again. Put a little bit of dark in there. Okay.
So that's like a kind of a dark, is that a greeny blue?
Yeah, it's like a dark green blue. I'll take a picture of this so that way you can see it next to the other colors, because you know it does change a little bit when you're putting these pastel colors next to each other, right? So it is a green blue. And when you're done, you can send over your where you're at if you have any questions. Trying to clean off my hands here. Okay. Are you guys able to see okay? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rubbing, I always do that. Alcohol in my container. My favorite part. Okay. So I am going to start with the sky, the lighter lights. Keep my isopropyl alcohol clean as possible. And I'm just gonna paint. I'm okay with the drips. That's okay. And this is just tinting the sky. I felt like having the purple in the sky is gonna unify the whole painting. We've got a lot of purple down in the bottom, and I feel like it's just gonna make those blue colors in the sky look really nice. And we'll blend it in, but I've learned with practice. Okay, get down in here. It's always kind of, some colors I do know what they're gonna dry out as, and some I don't. Like this bright purple, I don't use very often. And if you ever going to use anything bright, highly pigmented like this, these are really great to do for underpaintings, bright pinks and bright purples, because you can always come back and tone it down. I don't want this line per se. That's just kind of like a roadmap for myself. So I'm gonna soften it. Roadmap just indicating for, that this is where we're gonna lay our lighter brown sand. This is where the sun's hitting it in the evening. So, and I just don't want it showing through the final. Okay. And just come in here. I was using the 500 grit again yesterday. This is like my last bit of my 400. I need to get some more. And I have to say with underpaintings, and because I'm a little heavy-handed, as I've always said, I definitely like the 400. The 500 is just not as toothy, obviously, which was fine. Just I've gotten accustomed to the 400 grit. Yes. Good. Perfect. All right. So now you're ready to apply. I don't know if you're using Gamsol, Rashmi, or.
I'll be using Gamsol.
Okay, perfect. Good. I'm going in horizontal. I'm not painting this way because this is the way that the sand and the water, right? So we always want to paint in the direction of what our subject is. So here we're just going to be painting just like this. I want to try to preserve that dark. And it's okay if it comes down into here a little bit. And let's see here. I'm just watching the edge here, right? Bringing my paintbrush just like this. Even when we're painting the water behind the wave, I know it's tempting to follow the edge of the wave when we're painting that water, but we want to really be cognizant of always just painting straight across and not following the edge of that wave. Because water lays flat. And I'm trying to bring down some of this pigment here. I may need to apply a little more. Oops. Good, Nina. So go ahead and start in with, if you're using any type of product or medium to wet your pastel. If not, you can use your blending tool. And I'm just going to come out like this. Doesn't have to be exact. We're going to come back in with our pastel pencil and just make sure that everything is where it's at, because we do lose a little bit of that when we're painting, doing our underpainting. There's some landscapes that we can, I don't care, you know, it can be just, we're just toning the paper, and if things don't look exact, that's okay. But waves and beach scenes, there's a bit of realism that we do want things proportionally right. We do want it to look the way it needs to be. So I found using that sketching out helps. And I actually do that in a lot of my oil paintings too. Take the time to get this right, the rest will just fall into place. Kind of looks like a night moody scene right here. Oh, that's funny. I'm softening this line a little bit because I don't want it to be a hard line. It's okay. I'm going to put pastel over it. Same with this line here. Even though we do see a line with our color, I'm trying to just have a nice shift. So please blend that out with your brush, because we definitely, I'm going to add just a little bit more blue back in here. Now that I'm looking at it, just a little bit more. Because those lines will somewhat show underneath. So just a little bit. I just needed a little bit here. Okay. Go ahead and send a picture over. When you are done, send over what you have. fun when we show people what it starts out and what it ends up with, because people are always amazed. And then they're like, what? I would have never thought of doing that. And it is. It's like, I know. It's pretty amazing. It's fun. Ooh, yeah. I love the drips, Jeannie. That's awesome. Good. You can add a little more blue like I did in that white space above your wave, because I think what we want to do is, as we're painting it, I think if we have that darker blue behind our spray, we can take that light blue and it'll just kind of come right over that dark blue. So I would just add a little bit more of your blue color just down right in this area where it lowers, because we've got this side going up and this side going up, but just in that lower area. That way it will, when you apply your light blue spray, it'll look really great. Great, Julia. See, it doesn't look just like, I mean, it is, it's amazing. But these colors are gonna look so pretty over it. Good job. So as you guys are continuing on, I'll just take some pictures. I just added to my palette from last week. And so I have an assortment of blues, but we're gonna kind of start from the sky and kind of work down. I have a white pastel pencil that I use, and that's what I'm going to use. You can use a hard pastel, like a new pastel, or something that's close to white. And we're going to use that to come back in like we've done on our waves and kind of sketch in and make sure that everything is looking the way it needs to. That will be the next step. And then after we kind of lay in where we want to put our foam and our waves, we'll start with the sky. Good, Cindy. Very nice. Just be aware of your angled lines, Cindy. So where your light green to your purple, we want to keep that pretty straight. So when we come back in with the pencil, this is always a good tip too, is to hold this and then to measure your angle, right? Good. So Rashmi, I would blend out that blue in the center. I would just soften those.
Okay.
Yeah, so just soften out those edges and blend. Yep. Good, Natalia. Ooh, I love the drips. So fun. And look at the sky. Woo. Love it. Good, Nina. So go ahead and you can just, where the white areas, Nina, in here, just take some of your, if it's Gamsol or your alcohol, and just kind of wet in those areas just a little bit so they're not completely, we want the whole paper toned. So just rub it in there a little bit and tone it just a little. Good. Okay. So again, I'm just looking at my lines, and I'm going to use my ruler again. So I've got my horizon, looks good. Now I've got the top of the wave, right? So right here, so this is what I'm looking at, is this part, right? Like that, the top part. So just like that. So I'm just gonna draw a line here. So see how this actually comes up a little bit. That's what I find is amazing. Okay. Now we've got the foam. We're at an angle here. So we're looking at our distance measuring coming to the vantage point out here. So foam. Okay. So that's pretty good. It's actually, we kind of have nice bit of foam here that kind of comes up. I like that. Kind of takes your eye up the wave. So I like to put that in. And I'm just coming along here. Okay. And I'm gonna follow it all the way up. I like this line here because it takes you right to the edge. So connect here. Just looking, right? So here's the top, here's the bottom. So you've got the top here, and then you've got the bottom. Look at how it's not very wide. I mean, this is our width, which is crazy. So what I was just saying, I think it just stopped, but what I'm measuring is this distance from here to here, the bottom of the wave to the top of the wave, and it is not very wide. Kind of drawing that in. And we've got this to here. This is why sketching out is important. It's natural to just make this so much bigger. That's why it just is shocking. Because you see from here to here, you see the top of that crest, that spray, to here, and in your mind, you make it that wide. But really, take that spray away, and here's the width of your actual wave. You see that? So really looking at what we're painting here. And we got the bottom, and again. So and we've got one kind of hanging out over here. We'll see if we want to put him in. Okay. Yeah. Then it kind of just so if that continued, just looking here. So it actually comes down. Okay. We've got our, actually not that big. Okay. Take a picture. It does take a little time, but it's forcing us to really look at the proportions because it is, you do really want to make that wave a lot bigger than it is. And also we know it's kind of slanting. We see that that beach is kind of like rolling, right? And it's got that slope a little bit. So we're going to work on how to create that slope down into, from here, coming down into the water piece of it. And so let me see what you guys have. You can send over if you have any questions before we start. We're going to start into the sky. And I've got, let's see, I talked about kind of pushing this horizon line back a little bit. So I've got a muted blue. And I've got a light blue. And I may even use a little bit of this. As we know, we get down into the horizon, it gets a little warmer. So these are the three that I'm looking at doing for the sky. So I think that will be nice. Okay. So this muted blue is what I'm going to put on the water at the base here. And so what I want to do is I want to put this first. Then we're going to come over it with the sky a little bit. And we're going to blend out that horizon to soften it. Then we'll kind of move up into the sky. So first things first, I'm just going to take this muted blue, very light. Then I'm going to take my light blue and just come right over. I'm pressing a little harder, just like that. Then I'm going to blend with my finger. Remember, it's just a back and forth, back and forth. I'll come back with my sky. This is the part I do use my finger a lot on, or a blending tool. Just push that in. Still letting some of that purple show through. And then I have this lighter. And I'm just coming right over that horizontally and blend. And if you have a blending tool, go ahead and and use it. Sometimes using the palm of your hand is better than your actual finger, just because you have a lot of oils on your finger. And I'm just gonna bring a little bit along here. Okay. I'll come back with that blue a little bit down farther here. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. And I'll take a picture here. I'm gonna go get I forgot to get my rag wet to clean my hands. So hold on just a minute. I'm gonna go do that. Okay. How's everyone doing? Oh. Okay. Oops. All right. Anyone have questions? We're gonna just start right in. I've got some greens here, and this is a blue-green, just a shade lighter. And then I see a little bit of this warmer green right here shining through. So I'm gonna put that in. And then I also have some navy. So we're just looking at the wave right now. Before we put anything over the top, we're just looking at what colors we see, the local color. Good. Good, Julia. Ooh, I like that, Natalia. That's really pretty. Good. So you can add more to your sky if you want, but you did great on the horizon, blending and making that a softened edge. Very nice. I sent over a picture of the greens that I have, and so I have a navy blue, a blue green, and then I have a lighter blue green, and then I have a little bit more of a warmer army green, and this is what's going to go into the crest of the actual wave. So I'm going to kind of move from the left to right. Good, Nina. Good job measuring. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce the darks with my dark blue. So I'm going to come right back in over here. I'm going to come right over that, a little bit of the white that I've marked, which is fine. You know, that's just to make sure proportionally everything is correct. And I'm just, again, bringing in my pastel, my blue, and I'm just reestablishing. And now I'm going to come with that green, that army green. I'm going to kind of just add a little bit right into that corner part of this pastel, or the wave. I'm going to bring the darker blue-green at the top. I know this is a small area. Just come right along the top here. And this I know just because I've seen waves a lot. And so I know that it tends to get a deeper color right in here. And so I'm just blending that.
Right in where does it get lighter?
Right up here at the top.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. And so I'm just blending these two. I'm going back and forth with it. And just coming right along here on the edge, bottom of the wave. I might even add a little more over in here because it seemed like that. Was picking up the sand a little bit more over here. I might even throw just a little bit into here. And a little bit. Kind of when I get a color, I like to see if I can put it anywhere else on the painting. Okay, I'm going to switch back to my darker blue. Come back out like this. Just like that. This kind of comes down at an angle here. Okay. 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 Now, I'm going to take that blue that we used for the underpainting. Because what I see is it's a little brighter because the sun's setting, and it's you can still see this is kind of deeper water, and this is reflecting of the sky, this light blue. But we know down underneath it's darker, and so it appears a little bit more brighter blue, and so I'm going to add a little bit of this in the front of the wave. So I'm just going to come right out here before I lay that light blue down. And I'm just going to bring it up even over here too. And carry it all the way across. And just blend that out. I think I'm going to bring a little bit of that back in here too.
Is this again the dark blue?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll show you. And I just sent over a picture of the actual blue too. It's kind of like a purple blue almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kind of adding it behind that wave just a little bit. And then I'm going to come back in with that, because I don't want to lose that edge of that wave too much either. So it's just a little back and forth here. Bring some of that down. Just like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with my white new pastel. And I'm just going to come back in here, and I'm just looking at the edge of the foam, and I'm using the edge of my new pastel. If you want, you can use a soft pastel. But really what I'm trying to do is just kind of come in. It gives a nice little irregular, I guess, line. It doesn't, and I'm just kind of tapping it along the edge here. And just kind of saying, okay, here is our foam. And comes down over here. And then it's coming down. And we're just following the edge. That kind of comes up, right? Very light touch at this point. Not really pushing that hard. Okay. We'll just put that in for now. Then I come in. Okay. Okay. I have a very light blue. And I'll show you compared to the white so you can see the difference. And that's what I'm going to come into the wave, and then on top I'll add a very soft yellow for the spray. This is the light blue, and then you can see it next to the white. And I'm just going to use this to come up over like this, just lightly. And just not a whole lot yet. And I'm just pressing a little harder down in the very bottom of that wave. And I just sit and pull up. Okay. That is good for now. We need to get moving on to our foreground and our foam. So the foam piece, of course, we're not going to be using the white. I'm going to start out with more of a light lavender, and then we're going to then put on top, because this is going to be more of the shadow, the lavender, and then we'll put on top that soft yellow. So again, for reference, and you can use that blue if you'd like to. You wouldn't be wrong. This is what the lavender that I'm using, and it's a medium, it's like a semi-hard pastel. And I'm going to hold it just like this, because water and foam, they lay flat, and you just kind of take it and just go very gently along. And I'm just dragging it. And I'm pressing a little harder here. And I can come back in with my my brush to take away some of this pastel that we're putting down too. And coming back along the foam edge. Okay. Just like that. And I'm just going to let it sit, and we're going to continue to move down. Okay.
And that's a lavender, did you say?
The what?
Did you say it was a lavender color?
I did the lavender. That's going to be like our shadow part. So when we lay that soft, yellowy, creamy foam on top, it's going to give that depth. And right now it doesn't really show, but when we come back in with like this creamy yellow, I'll show you in a picture. You're going to see how that foam in the shadow. So see that creamy yellow next to that? Look how dark that looks. So this is how we're building up our layers, because we always want to put in the lightest lights first, but with pastels, we work from dark to light. So we're building our darks, and then we lay our lights on at the last minute, at the end. So we're just looking at all of these lights, and we're thinking about how we can layer the colors underneath it to then apply that light color on top. So right now, we've laid the shadow, right? The shadow pieces of this foam right in here and right in here. And then we're gonna put in this warm, creamy yellow foam, and then it's gonna give us that depth. But we're not ready to do that quite yet. I'm gonna set it aside. Let's get our sand in. So we're gonna come back over with some of this dark purple that we used for the underpainting. And I'm just gonna come back over this just a little bit, just kind of blend, because I lost a little bit after the underpainting, so I'm just kind of filling in a little bit more to darken it, not a whole lot. Okay, then I'm gonna come in with that fun purple that we used on the other part of the underpainting. It's that really bright purple, and I'm just going to add a little bit over here, just a little, just like that. Okay, and then now we're going to come in with our blues, and I'm going to show you with actually, let's do our sand first. Sorry, I get excited with the water. We really need to get the sand in. I've got an arrangement of oranges here. I'd say it's like brown orange. So we're thinking darks to lights. Distance is going to be muted. I know it gets warmer over here because we know the sun's to the left and it's setting. So we can tell because we've got a glow on the wave, and we can see that it's hitting the top of this little sand piece that's jetting up. So we know the sun's coming here. So to create this shadow, it's going to be a cooler, more purple in the sand. So, and then in the distance, it's going to be lighter and muted. So we're going to start with a darker, this is kind of like a orangey rust color. And it's pretty dark. Take a picture. And that's what I'm going to use right in here. And I'm just going to take it and just lightly scumble it over here. Ooh. I'm going to leave that part where the lighter sand, I'm going to not put it over that. Well, that looks good on that purple. Okay, I'm going to come right in here a little bit. Okay, going a shade darker. I'm going to show you what I have here. Pulled out, okay? Take a picture. So you can see. Okay. I'm going to take that second color right underneath the rest that I just sent you, and I'm going to come back over the top, right along the water where the light's hitting, and very light touch. Come over the corner here. And then I'm going to come right over that piece that's kind of like sticking up. I think that's an important piece because it gives you a sense of that. We know it's the evening, that bright sandy color and that light on it. It's helping us give direction of time of day. I'm going to take some of this and bring it down in here. Just light. Okay. Now I'm going in with this orangey color. Again, lighter color right over the top. Very light. I'm leaving this area alone because I'm going to bring in some duller purple color, lavender colors. So I'm just kind of letting that sit there for a little bit. Okay. Okay. I'm going to blend. My finger. This light. Two shades of brown that I'm going to use for the back part to push this back a little bit. And then my purples for the shadow as well. So I'm going to lay those right next so you can see. That's not the right purple. And so this brown, I'm just glazing right over the top. This is the lighter of the browns. And just coming in here. Just a little bit here. Just toning back a little bit of that bright orange. I'm going to use the darker brown. Maybe a little bit like this. Now I've got my muted lavenders, cooler muted lavenders, and I'm just going to kind of drag this down right here in the shadow area. If I'm going too fast, let me know. So right now it's pretty pretty orange. But we've got these browns that we're going to use to put over it. Okay. Got some of this light lavender. I'm gonna just a little bit on the edge before I lay that blue. Okay. So when everyone send over what they have so I can see before I move on. Don't want to go too fast. What happens is these lighted areas help with the direction of that sand.
Marie, I'm
Yeah.
calling Massacre at the Beach.
You what?
I'm calling mine Massacre at the Beach.
Oh no.
It looks like blood everywhere.
It does? Oh no. Let me see.
I sent it.
Oh yeah, that looks good, Natalia. Okay, send it over. I want to see.
I didn't hit send, sorry.
Oh, actually, I love it. So what you can do, right, is I love that color. So now you can just go over with a really nice muted brown, Jeannie. And that's going to just show that that color is going to just come right underneath that brown and look, actually, I think it looks great. So now you just need to find a muted brown. Maybe with a little bit of purple tint to push that back a little bit, or even, yeah. And then send it over. I'm gonna show you the blues that I've got for the water here. I'm not gonna really press hard quite yet here. Let's see if this color works. So working with the darkest blue, right? And then we'll lay that lighter blue over the top. Actually works pretty well. I'll add this up here too. I'm pressing it a little harder now. Staggering where you start and stop right along this edge, where right here, because you know the water has just come in and now it's rolled out, so it leaves these streaks.
Marie, I sent you mine.
Did you send yours?
Yeah.
Good. That's great. Okay, so where you're at now, Rashmi, is you want to take your blue, so that blue that you put up right above that light blue to the far right, right in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So use that as your bottom base down here in your reflection. Yeah.
Okay.
And then soften your edges where your purple and your sand meet. So, which means just kind of like bring your purple over and then your orange, kind of move it back and forth. So you kind of see it. Yeah. Good, Cindy. Behind your waves, Cindy, let's darken that just a little bit, if you can. So that blue to the far left that you have over in this area, see if you can bring that over, carry that over on this side.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Good, Nina. Okay, so Nina, you're ready to lay in the reflection of the sky. So go ahead and start laying in your blue. Yeah, I like it, Julia. So now you can blend your sand. So use either a blending tool or you can use your actual pastel, Julia, and you can just start kind of pushing and blending those colors together.
Yeah, I'm on a 240 paper today, and it's really
And
good.
I like the underpainting showing through. So I think it gives it depth. So I think it looks really great. As soon as you start adding in your blues for your water, it's going to totally change. Trust me. So let's start doing that. And I'm going to even use some of this blue right up into here too. Right up into the wave. Just like this. Maybe even out over here too. And we want to, because if this is telling us this is the reflection of the sky, this is also reflecting the sky, which is at the base of these foam and the base of the wave. So we do want to bring that blue right up into here too. Maybe even just a little bit into the back water. And if you do, lightly blend. Okay. And when I'm putting this blue in, I'm actually coming towards the wave versus going down the foam line. Okay. Let's try. I've got a couple brighter pigmented pastels for those highlights in the water. We're going to try these two, see how they work. I don't know. See if I can get an actual good edge here. That one doesn't really work that well. See if this one does. It's okay. Might add it up into this area here. I'm pressing pretty hard right along this edge. think I'm going to need a lighter blue. This is more on the turquoise, which is okay. I'd only put it right here in the front areas because it is warmer, and warmer is closer to you. As we move into the distance, of course, it gets cooler. So I wouldn't put this back here into the backwater. It would be fighting with your foreground. So if you are using more of a turquoise blue, keep it right here into the front area of the wave. I'm going to use a little lighter blue. This is a hard pastel. I almost need a little lighter. See if this works. It's okay if I blend it out. This is a soft pastel. Just using the edge back and forth. Come back in with that darker blue because it's not as light over here. And just glaze right over that purple, letting it shine through that underpainting. Okay. I need a cooler. I might use this purple that was over here off the shadow of the rock. Let's see if I can't add a little bit of that into this area too. Just a little bit. And then I'll come back with that dark purple. To give that little edge. Right, and come down in here and kind of drag that. Creating that edge. And I'll come back in with the sand. So it's just back and forth. Kind of comes down into here a little bit. And you can just use this pastel to blend. See how I'm just getting that nice edge. That kind of crests over here, just like this. And we've got this shaded area. come in with my lighter sand and kind of come right over in this area to pop that out just a little bit. And just blending. I'll come in with a darker, maybe if I have like a, maybe even that navy blue. I'm just making marks. Nothing has to be exact, just tapping. And so the edges are important because then I can come in with that rust color and take my pastel and just take the edge just like that, right? And come along the edge of that dark at an angle to create and then if you come back in with your light pastel, just hit it right on the edge. Okay. And then we've got a little bit of blending out here. And we'll come in with that muted purple again for the shadow area. Just like that. A little bit back in here. How are we doing on time? Okay. Always hope we can get things finished in class, but let's see. Is this the color we were using? I'm just going to lighten this up just a little bit. Okay. That's fairly good for right now until we can get into the wave. I'm just adding a little bit of this orange highlight right along the foam line. We need to get that in. Okay. So I'm going to take that light creamy pastel and I'm just going to come right along the foam, holding it and just press hard right along that edge. And just kind of go right over the top of that lavender.